Okay, that is that. Should we open up the phone lines?
Sure.
Should we open up the phone lines? All right, Sports Radio 1766. For the first time ever, we are going to open up the phone lines, and I think we should start by going out to Mike in Pennsylvania. Mike in Pennsylvania, you're on Sports Radio 1766.
Max, Alex, thanks for having me on the show. I've been listening to you guys since day one, so I'm happy to be on. I think Rutgers is going to go 9-3 this year. The ceiling is there for a double-digit win season. I just think there's quite a few difficult road games. That middle six stretch is really where things are going to be determined on how the season goes. That's kind of where all the difficult games are. But I think hammering the over on 6.5 wins this year is a must. I don't see any way that they go underneath that. All right, I'll hang up and listen. Thanks again, guys.
Well, thank you, Mike, in Pennsylvania, for a call. I appreciate that you've been listening since day one, considering day one was like a week and a half ago.
Did you catch what I caught at the beginning of that call?
Max, Alex, thanks for...
Yeah, it's fine. Everyone, you know, everyone gets that wrong.
I think he knows your name.
He does.
I think he does.
I think that Max and Alec is a little bit... It's like Max and Alex, it's like, you know... No, yeah.
He had 9-3.
I agree.
Ooh.
That middle six is going to be tough, though. I agree with him there.
9-3.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where we are. That's where we are. Where people are predicting 9-3. Mike in Pennsylvania, thank you for calling. All right, let's go out to Kevin in Indiana. Kevin, you're on Sports Radio 1766.
Hey guys, great to be on 1766. For the first time in history, we've got a quarterback that's actually beaten Wisconsin. Get ready, we're going to run through the Big 18 like butter, all the way to the college football playoffs, creating one of the greatest logistical challenges of all time, where basketball/football fans have to figure out how to get back to Newark to see Princeton play. It's going to be awesome. As always, onions.
And that was just electric.
Great call. Kevin in Indiana, one of the all-time greats. And did he give a record? I don't think he gave a record, but that's fine. You don't have to give.
I mean, he said college football.
He said college football. That's at least 10.
Yeah,
right?
I think we're
probably
assuming
for Rutgers that's 11.
We're assuming at least 10 wins.
I think Rutgers would probably have to get to 11.
Yeah, and I like the tie-in of Rutgers fans having to figure out how the heck they're going to get back to Princeton or how to get back to Newark. Well, I don't know if that would interfere because when is the first game? When is the college football playoff first round?
Like the 20th, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, all right. Well, never mind because the Princeton game is the 21st.
Yeah, it's right around then. It's right then.
I didn't realize it was that. I thought, oh yeah. I mean, it makes sense if they're adding like 2 extra rounds.
Yeah, and then the quarterfinals are the quarterfinals New Year's Eve, and then the semis are around January 10th, and then the finals like January 20th. I think it's like 10 days or something.
Yeah,
in between.
I think so. So yeah, I mean it's a legit. I mean, how are you going to get back to the Prudential Center to watch Rutgers take on Princeton for the second year in a row?
All right, let's keep going. Let's go out to Brian in Hillsborough. Brian, you're on Sports Radio 1766.
I smell a 9-win season coming up. On defense, I'm getting major Legion of Boom vibes out there. And on the offense, with Flatt's got that offensive line running, I think we're going to see a top third offense overall in the Big Ten. But the real measure of success this season is if Jake Butts interviews me while I'm wearing my Rutgers overall bibs. Apparently a one of a kind.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, one of the new fads is wearing the Foco overalls. I got a pair of Rutgers overalls that Brian from Hillsborough has graciously agreed to wear for some of these games, and you know I think I like the Legion of Boom reference. I feel like top third of the Big Ten offense is maybe a little bit ambitious.
Say, man, how about we get in the top 2/3?
Yeah, it's a little ambitious, but I like it.
That would be wild.
I mean,
that is one thing that I really want to see this year is, I say this every time I have a microphone in front of me. I say the same thing about Rutgers football every single time. And it's that when you turn on college football across the country, it'll be 1st and 10. The quarterback will go back to pass. There'll just be a guy open 7 yards. It's 2nd and 3. That's just not a part of our lives where it's just, all right, easy pitch and catch, 7 yards. I want easy offense. I don't need to win to be putting up 35 points a game. But we'll get to over-unders on, like, how about 200 passing yards a game? Something like that.
That's fair.
Yeah, like, just give me, that's what I want to see. But just give me that 7-yard out at 2nd and 3. Don't make it 3rd and 8 all the time. The top third of the Big Ten is something I will absolutely sign up for. Let's keep it moving. Let's go out to Craig in South Jersey. Craig, you're on Sports Radio 1766.
The Toure injury has me a little concerned, but I'm still going with an optimistic 8-4 and a bowl win to get us to 9-4 in the 2024 season. Maybe you can hear Miss Rachel playing in the background, too, of this prediction. And Max, you know it. Francisco Lindor, superstar. Craig out.
I mean, I don't disagree. I mean, this is a debate for another time and another show. I think Francisco Lindor should win the NL MVP, but,
I think that's bonkers with Ohtani about to put up a 50-50.
Yeah, it's close. But
if you'll see, I've got Lindor on my end.
Yeah.
It's Ohtani and Lindor. I've got
Yeah.
Lindor there. I've got
Yeah.
him second, but MVP is a little much. Also, you got to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
all right?
well,
The third wild card has given this idea that a lot of these crap teams are actually worthy of making the playoffs. None of these. You're an 84-win team. You don't deserve to be in the playoffs. But Major League Baseball has decided that they're now the NFL or the NBA. Half the league makes the playoffs, and what are you going to do about it?
I like the 9-win prediction, though. And the Touré injury is a little bit worrying, but I think they'll figure it out.
So that was Craig in South Jersey. Let's go out to Brian and Kearney. Brian and Kearney, this is Kearney. That's Soccertown, USA, from what I've heard.
If Rutgers wins at Virginia Tech, 9-3. If Rutgers loses, 7-5. 8-4, not possible. Which is why I'm going to end up picking that anyway. Either way, shocking if Rutgers doesn't make a bowl game.
So Brian and Kearney has them 9-3 or 7-5, but not 8-4.
But then he said he was going to pick them at 8-4.
Brian and Kearney has his own podcast called The Rutgers Rant. And is he going to go on there and is he going to call them? Is he going to say that they're going to be 8-4? Is he going to 7-5, 9-3? Is he going to hit every single prediction so he can say he was right somewhere?
Yeah, he goes all sides. So there's no matter what, he can't lose
unless they win 5 games
or 10.
Who was it on Twitter who had them at 2-10?
Barrett Sally.
Oh yeah, okay, that guy.
Yeah,
had them at 2-10.
And the only 2 wins were Akron and Howard, and they just lose out.
I mean, I've seen it, but one of the years they started 2-1, and then I think lost the next 9. They might have done that multiple years, actually.
I mean, I know they did that in Ash's first year.
They won the first game right against, was it Howard?
Howard was the second game. They got blown out at Washington.
Oh, that's right.
Game.
That's right.
And then they trailed Howard by 2 touchdowns in the first quarter.
That's right.
And then trailed New Mexico by 3 touchdowns in the first quarter, and then they ended up winning.
A song that never got made was the Chris Ash Has Been Fired song, which was Chris Ash has been fired. It was always coming, so it isn't stunning. Chris Ash has been fired. We should have known at 14-0 Howard.
That was a disaster. But they won the game.
It's like 51-14.
Yeah.
So there's that. All right, we got a couple more calls on the board here. Let us go out to Richard in Connecticut. Richard, you're on Sports Radio 1766. Oh, we got to dump that. We can't dump that. We can't report that, Richard. I don't. Richard, I know you've heard that from 12 different people, but this is a journalistic entity. We are not going to be reporting anything like that here on Sports Radio 1766.
We have so much credibility.
Let's keep it going here. Let's go out to Tyler in West Orange. You're on Sports Radio 1766.
I just think Rutgers is going to build off the bowl win last year with the way the new Big Ten is and the new schedule. It's a bit easier. You don't have to play the powerhouses of Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State every single year. You have your identity built on the offensive side with running the ball, especially with Kyle Monangai, and defensively one of the best teams in the country, as well as special teams and punt block unit.
I like the punt block unit shout out. They don't have Max Melton, who is an awesome punt blocker, but I mean, if you are on special teams on the punt block unit, Greg Schiano trusts you to block a punt.
Yeah, I mean, and we know that's all what Schiano is all about in special teams. And obviously I understood that special teams are important, but more as I've watched more and more football, I've really come to appreciate that more. Because the thing about special teams plays is that there's such a wide variety of variants of things that can happen on any given play, where if the snapper snaps it over the punter's head, as opposed to the punter just kicking it, there's a huge difference in win probability in those moments. And I think Greg Schiano has just always recognized that these are the plays where this is where you win and lose, because if you mess up special teams, you might take your win probability from 60% to 35, whatever. It might come down that much from one play. Now that can happen anytime during a game, interception, fumble, but every single time you throw the punter back there, there's a potential for, there's a potential every play for it to be a big play, but especially on a punt where it's like you mess this up, punter drops the ball, it gets blocked. The punt returner, he can drop the ball, the punt can be bad. There's so many different things that go into a special teams play that can greatly affect the game, and I just have really come to appreciate. I've really come to subscribe to the Shiano importance with special teams.
And it's funny. In the Pinstripe Bowl, before they blocked that punt on the WRSU broadcast, myself and Dylan Allen, we were calling the game. We said this would be a great spot to block a punt right here, deep in your own end zone. You know, we I don't want to say we called it, but we said it would be a great thing to happen, and it did.
That was in the end zone closest to the press box, right? It
Yes.
was right in front of us.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have one more call on the board. Let's go out to James. James in America. Didn't say we responded. It says James in America.
This is James in Morristown.
Oh.
First-time caller, first-time listener. I've got the Scarlet Knights at 7-5 this season, but it's an interesting road to get there. They start 2-0. They lose at Virginia Tech. That's the first of a 4-game losing streak that has the entire nation turning its back on Rutgers, saying they were not worth the hype, and probably they weren't. But anyway, they then split the LA schools. That's 3-5 going into the final third of the season. Greg Schiano's club gets hot, rattles off 4 straight wins, gets to 7-5, avoids Detroit on the day after Christmas, goes back to the Pinstripe Bowl or some other bowl like that. I don't have the list in front of me. I will say this. The game at USC, 11 p.m. Eastern kickoff, Friday night, the gluttony of college football. Actually, the second most gluttonous act in Big Ten history. The first one is having an entire season during a global pandemic so Ohio State could try to win a national title. But to put a team in New Jersey against a team in Los Angeles at 11 p.m. on a Friday night is pretty folks. But they're going to do it, and my gut feeling is that something very strange and controversial will happen in that game, and it will go against the Scarlet Knights, and people will be very, very, very angry on the internet. Thanks for having me.
It's a long call.
That was a long one.
Should have given him the old what's the Francesa thing where he just went
just taps the
no, but it's like a dismissal. Like, get this guy out.
Yeah. At least nowadays he just taps the screen and it's over.
So
there's a lot to unpack.
There's a lot to unpack there. I think the number one thing I wanted to unpack was his prediction of a controversial call at like 1:30 in the morning for USC Rutgers. Is that like, he didn't say one, but that's the idea here.
Yeah,
is that
I mean
it's a late night game.
That game is going to end at like 2:15.
I think
Eastern
it's great.
time.
I think it's great. I mean, I know you're in. You're fine with that. I understand people have. It's a Friday night. You can stay up late.
Yeah.
But I think it's great. I've been saying that nobody in college goes out before 11 o'clock. This is college sports. Start the game at 11 o'clock. I'm in.
Yeah, what could I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if something completely, what's the word I'm looking for?
Bonkers?
Yeah, bonkers. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. The 4-game losing streak is interesting. So that's Virginia Tech, Washington, Nebraska, and Wisconsin are all losses. So that would be, and then they win out against Minnesota, Maryland, Illinois, and Michigan State in November. And then they get back to either the Pinstripe Bowl or one of the other bowls, which we can get into later as well. It's part of my over-unders.
We still got to get out to John in Virginia. John, you're on Sports Radio 1766.
Hey guys, it's John. First time, long time. I'm thinking over-under of 8 wins, and the most important game of the season is the game at Blacksburg. Win that one, maybe it's 9 or 10.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, we've got all high predictions except for James in Morristown, not America. And I think that was 7. Everyone else is 8 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty telling that these are the expectations now.
All right, so I enjoyed opening up the phone lines. Hopefully we're able to do that again soon. Back after this on Sports Radio 1766.